I see dead
Welcome to Blondes and Booze. You are about to embark on a journey, one that often leads to more questions than answers. But fear not, your host, Krista, Aaron, and Brandy have the experience, the perseverance, and yes, even the gifts to pull back the veil and allow us to glimpse the other side. They will share not only their experiences, but will introduce you to world renowned researchers and experiencers to help you find answers in the murky waters of what we call the paranormal. Their bonds with each other reach far beyond friendship, resulting in a pull no punches approach to the many subjects they explore. Their goal? To open eyes, hearts, and even minds to what lies on the other side, and the answers residing there.
Hey, everybody.
Good
Welcome to
evening.
Blondes and Booze. We're glad you guys could tune in tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. How are you, Brandy?
Hey, I'm on the upside of this cold. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I'm trying. I want to let everybody know. So this is the kind of friend Brandy is. So I got my cold from Brandy. And does she give me anything? Yep, she gives me a cold. But guess what? She gives Tex a signed picture with Bob Gimlin's signature. So I think Tex got the better end of the deal.
Oh, my
Right?
goodness.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
give me
mean
a
to.
cold.
I didn't mean to.
Well, at
I
least
warned
mine.
everybody ahead of time. I'm like, look, I don't know what I've got here, but air
Right?
hugs.
Air hugs. Yeah. Yeah. But what you did on your behalf, I will say you did test for COVID and the flu and you tested negative before you came. So I knew what I was walking into.
Yeah,
However,
yes. I wasn't going to come, even though I'd hate to, turn that down and everything and not go, but I tested, I made sure that I didn't have none of that stuff. And I even tested when I got back just to make sure, because I was like going to have to call everybody and apologize. I'm sorry,
you know
but
what?
I didn't.
As long as this has lasted, though, honest to God, it has almost felt like COVID.
I know it. I know
Seriously.
it.
But
So
I went.
everybody stay bundled up there. Take some airborne, take your vitamin C. I don't care what you do. You just,
Yeah, you don't want
this
this.
is no joke. I had
Well, when I
COVID
went to
back in
the
July
doctor, yeah,
and
I
this is
went to the
hanging on
doctor
longer than that.
yesterday. I went to the doctor yesterday, and that doctor told me that she's been seeing a lot of the cold. However,
Mhm.
it's been lasting for 3 weeks on some people, and I'm on day 11.
Yeah, and I'm over 2 weeks right now. So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so keep up on your vitamin C, everybody, because you do not
Yeah.
want even the cold.
Yeah,
Just
but I
saying.
want to send out some prayers and kind words to our friends in Michigan and all of that have been you know taken over by that storm they had. There's people without power and everything else.
Trees
God
down.
bless you.
Yeah. Our friend BMR, everybody knows him. He's been without power. So say some prayers for him that he gets some power and can, get warm. It's cold up there. So
Yeah, yeah.
somebody else I'd like to throw some prayers out to. We have a friend, the mermaid medium, Jessica Potter, and she is in the hospital tonight with heart issues. She had a heart attack back in, I guess it was back in December, and she's back in the hospital tonight. So, and she's young, guys. If everybody could
Yes.
keep her in your prayers, we definitely appreciate it. So, anyway, let's get
Why
on
don't
with.
we give some shout outs to our people in chat tonight?
Yep, let me go way up here to the top.
Let me go way back here.
Right. Right. We have Gary. Hello, Gary. Gene Hudson. Night Marionette Productions, Crystal J, Susie B, hello. Let's scroll on down here. I'm looking. I know there's others come in since then. I just got to get to them. Jean Hudson, I don't know if I said your name. I'm kind of blonde, so I forget things easy.
Yeah, excuse that. We're kind of blonde.
Right. Tex is on. Hey, Tex.
Hey, Tex.
Yep. I know I said Susie B, Pat Murphy, Strangeland. Let's keep on scrolling. Val, how are you? Scott, it's good to see you. Midwest Night Watchers. Let's keep going. Lisa Jones, thank you for tuning in. Chiro Sounds.
Do you name off Crystal J?
I think I did.
Got to say hi to her.
Yep. Lisa Crisp, who I'm happen to know is Shane's wife. So hello, thank you for tuning in. Crystal Maggie, hello. Glenn Dennison, good to see you. Let's see. John, thank you for tuning in. Let's see here. Oh, and I keep refreshing. So I apologize, guys, because it keeps taking me back up to the top. Hey, Dawn.
Hey, Letitia just popped in too.
Yep.
And then there's Terry.
Yep, Dawn Baker is on too. Hi, Dawn. I appreciate you tuning in. She was one that came to our deal, Fall into the Supernatural. She was a friend.
Yeah.
I did Civil War reenactments with her. Yeah.
Did you call out Chiro Sounds?
I did.
Okay.
Like I said, my computer keeps.
Well, if we missed you, we're super sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Terry, Letitia, long time no talk. I just talked to you not that long ago on the phone.
Oh, we got Bim Jim.
Yep, Ben Jim. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in, and we're going to get on with this. And
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited. We have Shane Michael Crisp, but I know you got to do your little spiel.
Got to do the spiel, and then we'll get on to Shane because we're here for Shane. So hang on just a second. Let me get this over with. On Monday nights, you can check out Tex and I at 6:30 p.m. With Texas Front Porch. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, you can watch Van Buren Variety at 8 p.m. We're hoping that BMR has power by then, but it's Beyond BMR. On Wednesday, it's Everything. On Thursday at 12 p.m. Central, we have Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Krista. At 8 p.m. Central, we have Blondes and Booze. And on Friday at 8 p.m., you have Blondes, Booze, and the Woo!
Sure do. All right. Let's just get this party started. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to go ahead
Let's get on to Shane.
Hey, howdy, ladies. How you doing?
We are good. How are you?
Long time no see. It's only been a week.
Right, I know.
We're missing our other guy. We're missing our other guy. Tex, how you doing?
Yeah, you were on Texas show.
Yeah, Tex is working.
That was very fun. That was probably one of my favorite podcasts I've been on, and I appreciate you ladies and Tex for having me on. And you guys do an awesome job at Blondes and Booze.
As do you. So
thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
So
let's just jump right. I was going to say, let's just get right down to business. I know.
Yeah, let's just jump right into this because this has been like a major a blow up explosion. I don't know how to really put it, but this is something really big that happened today, and it's really changing, the Dogman world. You want to explain briefly about what had happened today? I know we don't want to go into all of it, and but just explain briefly what happened.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we know that there was some issues, personal reasons. We are closing down the North American Dogman Project as of right now. Talked to Jody just briefly on that. Told us just to change everything, that we're shutting down completely and get rid of the groups on social media. So, I asked him, what could we do to, continue on? He doesn't know if he's going to keep doing this per his health. I'll say that aspect. But from here on out, I am taking the Region 1 page and I'm creating the United States Dogman Federation into collaboration with any other Dogman group. I think that's what we need as a community, not to pick sides, but to work
Absolutely.
together to move further. That's what we get in the
Yeah.
Bigfoot community. There's people that pick sides. You're choosing this side, you're choosing that
Yeah.
side. Well, we've hit a concrete wall right now in the Dogman community, and not to throw any names out there, but there was a individual that said that this isn't helping us grow anywhere, and
Right.
so, and he's right. So that's what we need is a organization. I'm not saying my organization would do that. It's not even my organization. I'm collaborating with friends right now, but that's what we're going to do as a community is try to move forward with our research and do
Mhm.
that. And, my little West Coast is just a little West Coast. It's always been a neutral site. I've always been neutral in
Mhm.
this, and I've tried to be friends with everybody. But from here on out, the Region 1 is going to be moved on as the United States Dogman Federation. And I'm excited to actually
Mhm.
see where the future goes with this with my couple of my good buddies. And we're trying to just structure it out, start from the
Yeah.
groundwork and
Yeah.
see what other organizations have done. And,
Mhm.
shout out to Jody and with what he's done with the North
Yeah.
American Dogman Project, 30 years of research into this phenomenon. But, I hope he doesn't, fold, the NADP completely, but it's up to him. So nothing but, I hope he gets better with his health, and nothing but mad love and respect for him and every other Dogman organization out there. But today's the day that I've, finally just come to terms that, I'm going to do my own thing and collaborate with everybody. So,
And you know what? That's the way it should be. Honestly, like we're all out looking for the same thing. And that's
Exactly.
the same thing, blondes, we've been watching what's been going on behind the scenes, and we don't take sides either because, I like the people that's on the NADP as well as the International Dogman, so
yes,
we didn't want to, get in the middle or step on any toes or, anything like that. So I wish everybody well,
Oh, of
Right.
course, 100%. I mean, there's probably 30 other Dogman organizations out there, or little groups,
Mhm.
but that's what where we get these people that bicker back and forth. It's like, how does that help us grow? That's
It's
why
a
I've always stayed neutral. And like
Yep.
you ladies say, you're neutral in this, and you've seen what's going on. But I've always been neutral in this whole ordeal as well. And so
Mhm.
it's just, I'm not going to pick a side. I'm in this for the Dogman, not the drama.
Right. You and me both. And it's not just like the Dogman world or the cryptid world that has the drama. Brandy and I have been doing paranormal for a long time, and it's the same over there.
Oh, is it?
And
I
that's
didn't know
why
that.
and that's why I left. I was a part of a team for many, many years. I was even on the board, and it was the drama. I couldn't deal with it. So I had to leave for my own sanity, and go to a different group. And so that's what I did, and sometimes you just got to break those ties of, the negativity and the bickering and other teams, pointing fingers
Exactly.
because they're investigating this place. Well, this was supposed to be our place. Nobody owns any of those. Let's all get along and let's do this stuff together,
Exactly. Collaborate. That's the whole
Yeah,
thing about it. We would
right,
get so much further if we didn't have, people had that, wanted to try to be the face of, the paranormal, the face of the Dogman, the face
right,
of the Sasquatch. We need to just collaborate, work together, and we would be able to expose these things a lot faster or get it out there. But
right.
right now we're at a concrete wall, and I don't know what we're gonna do. Like I said, I was gonna start this, or collaborate with some other friends and start the United States
Mhm.
Dogman Federation and collaborate with everyone, and hopefully we could tear down that wall and just move forward.
Right. I agree. And we stand behind you
You
100%.
ladies are welcome to be, on the team as well and be admins and help out. It's what I want everyone to be a part of this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be the one, but it's the one group I want it to be. Like what I envision and what my buddies envision is what we want it to be, a fun research,
Yeah.
learning, page. That's what it should
Right.
be about.
Right. As many people say, there isn't any experts, and that goes for the cryptid world,
Yep.
the paranormal world, the UFO world. I wholeheartedly agree. I learn
Yep.
something every day, something new, about from this person or that person. And that's what it's all about, helping each other and gaining the knowledge
Exactly.
and learning from each other. And that's why Blondes, that's why we started doing this, not to gain anything or
Exactly.
line pockets. It's to educate people and ourselves, because again, we don't know everything.
Well,
Exactly.
the way I'm seeing all of this, and granted, it's not all been good, but
Mhm.
Did you know that today is now Shane Day? Shane gets to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that awesome? I mean,
It-
you
it-
get
it's
to, I mean, I know that you're just getting into the whole group thing and working your way around and doing your research. I mean, I'm sure you didn't think that it was going to be sprung on you so quickly,
exactly.
but here you are.
Here
I
it
mean,
is.
it's kind of like I should say congratulations, because everything
Absolutely.
that you're talking about is the direction that we need to go. I mean,
Mhm.
it really is. We need to come together as one group, united. Call
100%.
yourself whatever you want to, but we
Yes.
really, we really need to come together and collaborate, like you said.
Yeah, like
100%.
John just commented, and I gotta agree with him on this. If I can show the comment, it's not letting me show the comment. Oh, there it is. Nope, that's the wrong comment. Let me find it here. I'm telling you, my computer is slow tonight. Let's see. I mean, it's too much ego going around, and I agree with that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's one thing I've always tried to tell myself. I never wanted to either get in this for fame or to grow and be the face of
Us
anything,
either.
but to build for research and to, build, like Krista said earlier, to help others out and just
Yeah.
be that person that, I learned some different things. Like Krista said, you've learned so much in the paranormal. I've learned a
Mhm.
lot of different theories about the dog, man. It's just
Me too.
some things that are so way out there that, hey,
Yeah.
who's to say, like you said, there's no experts in these fields, but we also got to stay humble. That's the number one thing.
Yep.
Is people forget that they get too big, and then I was working on a ranch growing up. That's one thing I was taught, was learn how to stay humble. I mean,
Mhm.
you ladies out in Missouri, you've owned horses, the whole ranching lifestyle. You stay humble, stay kind. That's one
Yeah.
thing we've been taught. So
Exactly. And like I said, I learned something every day, and and I got to tell you, some of my best friends are people that I have met from doing this, and that's the truth.
exactly.
I couldn't meet
Like I said,
more
I feel like I've known you two
people.
for years.
Yeah, it's like, where have you guys been all my life?
Right? I
You
mean,
guys
we're all
are
spread out
drama
across
free.
the
You're my
country.
people.
You're my
Yeah.
people. That's how I feel. There's the nicest people in the cryptid community. I was telling my wife the other day, it is unfortunate, is that weird? No, I wouldn't say weird, but as nice as it is that the people in the cryptid community will be there for you. You can,
Mhm.
say that your dog died or you lost a family member or something. More people in the cryptid community come around together and, they embrace you. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I have more cryptid
Yeah.
friends than I do real friends. And
Me too.
it's,
I agree.
I'm not sad to say that. I'm really not. This is my life, and this is my passion, my research.
Mhm.
You guys, or you ladies, to do this. And I know you guys are in the cryptid field. I keep saying you guys. I'm so sorry. You
You're good,
ladies.
Shane. Believe me, we get it all the time.
All right.
It's a form of expression, but it's just, we're in this all together, and that's what I really think that it should be like, and
Yeah.
move forward. Not, Chris, if you, your video last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? You guys were running up and down the hallway on a
Right.
chair. So,
Yeah.
that's awesome to see that two friends having fun. It's like,
Right.
that's what we need, not
Yeah.
people, bickering back and forth on this thing.
Right. And then, there's a time and a place to be serious. We can be serious too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We also like
absolutely.
to have fun.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
But
Go
just to
ahead,
be
please.
honest, I mean, that video of me and Krista, that's our real life. That wasn't for the camera. That is stuff that we do whenever we're together. That was just, she just had her phone and said, "I'm gonna video this." It's just normal. It really is just normal.
Yeah, you ladies are the life of the party.
well, we sent it to Tex and BMR and them on that chat, I believe, and then they ended up we put it on our just our live Facebook, and they ended up putting it way out there. So
Sharing it through all the groups, huh?
Yeah.
I know. I think it went to oh my gosh, I can't even tell you where it went. Anywhere
That's funny.
podcasts are seen, I think.
yeah,
I think I saw it a couple times on a couple pages. So
Yeah.
no, you ladies have an awesome time
Yeah.
together.
Well, that's what it's about, seriously,
is.
Mhm.
it's about having a good time, but being serious too. And, we really, truly are serious investigators on the paranormal side, and we're learning the cryptids. We've had some of the best
Mhm.
teachers take us out, and give us the chance to investigate with them and do
Mhm.
research with them. And, we couldn't be more appreciative of that, of people giving us the chance. And that's where I go back to the point saying, the people in the cryptid community are great people. Like you said, they open their arms to somebody who's new to it and wanting to
Mhm.
learn and educate ourselves. They're all about it.
Embracing, exactly.
Embracing. That's the right
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
That's the number one thing I've learned, because when I joined about a year and let's say a month ago, 13 months ago, I joined, and I was opened up with, warm, arms that, people just say I was embraced. And I wasn't trying, like I said, I wasn't trying to get in this for anything, but just to study the research of Dogman, because the sightings are increasing.
Yeah.
It's that, but then it's like they embrace you, and you learn different things, and as you grow as a researcher, you find out different methods, different theories, different ideologies. And that's what
Yeah.
got me is different types of research. And because I came in on a form of research that is highly frowned upon in any cryptid community, but
Mhm.
I saw different things in certain photos, and you can call it pareidolia, and a lot of it could be, but there's some really legit photos that it's hard to explain. But that's why I stopped that form of research and moved on more. That I did think I saw some things, but in reality I didn't see anything when I was taking the pictures. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move on from that and go look for more the evidence based, the prints,
Yeah.
the hair samples, just something that the grass that's bedded down on, something, the structures. So
Right.
that's what got me into it and moving further in my research. But the next new guy that comes in, I'm not going to be like, hey, don't do that type of research, because then again, you're bringing down someone's form of
Yeah.
research that looks into it. Like you said earlier, this community is an embracing community, and that's what I think we should do as a community to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We had or today I did a brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. I co-host with him on Thursday afternoons, and unfortunately he couldn't log on because he didn't have any power. But we had Robbie Rains on today, and he's one of DA's guys on his Ex Machina crew.
Yes,
And
Robbie's a good man,
yeah, he
very
is.
knowledgeable.
Yep. And the conversation we had today, we kind of talked a little bit about that, like people's different beliefs. Some people believe they're interdimensional, some people believe they're flesh and blood, and Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever. But it's what we have experienced. It's not that my way is wrong or your way is wrong. It's what we have encountered in our experiences. So
Yes, exactly. And that's to say, who's to say that you're encountering, oh, you didn't see that, and then someone to
Right.
call you a straight liar that
Right.
thinks they're an expert. There is no experts in these fields. What you
Right.
saw might have been 2 minutes, or it could have been a flash of 5 to 10 seconds.
Exactly.
Dog man running across the road. You're just explaining what you had seen. That's
Yeah.
But we do
Yeah.
have a lot of people in this community that will shoot someone down and say, "Oh, you didn't see nothing." That's
Right.
where we need to say, "Hey, that's it's really hard." It's hard to bite your tongue on so many different aspects, because I have to scroll past a lot of things, and I don't want to voice my opinion on things because I am a neutral person and I'm friends with everyone. And it's
Right.
just there's certain things that you do see and you're just like, I want to voice out, but it's
Yep. Me too.
it's hard. You got to stay tight-lipped. But for someone like the other day in Region 1, I had this one guy share, it was just a dog man. There's a trail cam. Another dude said, "Hey, it's an effing bear." I'm like, okay, it looks like it's obviously a bear. The dude's
I've
just
seen that
sharing
one.
it. Yeah, I didn't call the guy out, but I was like, why do you have to use negative language? Why can't you just say, "Hey, dude, I think this is a bear," instead
Right.
of "Hey, dude," and personally attacking someone? That's why we don't advance in this, form
Right.
of research in the cryptid community. We stay
Yeah.
at a brick wall.
Yep. And that's what I think is cool with like the people that Brandy and I associate with, you and the Nunnallys and DA and his crew and Daryl Dent and all of them, Jeremiah, Nick, all of them, that we can all, have our own opinions, but we're still friends. Tex is number one. He believes they're flesh and blood, but that's what he encountered.
Exactly.
And we're still friends at the end of the day.
100%.
And that's what I think is cool with, you know, with this.
Well,
With-
just like politics. I mean, not getting into politics. I'm, you know,
Right.
today,
Please
after
don't.
today, I'm just like, I need to take a break. But like politics, we can have a friend that's Democratic and a friend that's Republican, just
Right.
bashing it out. But at the end of the day, if they're true friends, they'll hug it out and say, "This is my way of thinking. This is your way of thinking."
Yep.
But like you said, we all have different opinions. Tex,
Yeah.
for example, flesh and blood, because that's what he'd seen. Other
Right.
guys that have only seen the one print and the dogman literally just disappeared, or the Bigfoot just disappeared. Well, where did they go? Are they, interdimensional? Are they jumping through portals?
Right.
We don't really know. So to
Exactly.
discredit someone, it's just like, look at the type of person you are. If you're going to go and say this person's wrong and it doesn't make sense. It's like, you're no
Right.
better than the other people that are, in this
Mhm.
for what reason? But to
Yeah.
discredit someone, you can give I say constructive criticism is the best, I would say.
Yep.
Say, hey, this is what I think, but still be polite about it. I think it's this. This is my opinion on.
Right.
So-
Exactly. And that's what it takes, even like pictures, I don't always agree with pictures,
100%.
that people take. I scroll. I don't comment. I don't, I wasn't there,
Yeah.
So, there's more that goes on when someone takes a picture, there's sounds, there's smells, there's all kinds of other things that go in that I wasn't there to say, yes, that's, pareidolia, or that's a tree stump. I wasn't there. So
That's where I come into this and think, well, because I did do that form of research for a long time. Well,
Mhm.
it's like 4 or 5 months, but going into it and seeing, like, I've talked to DA about it. DA's really coached me on it. And we know how DA is with red circles,
Right.
but because I used to do the red circles, the green circles,
Mhm.
whatever color you want to do. But there's a certain degree with someone just going out into the woods, 10 feet in and just taking pictures, 100 pictures and saying, there's a dog man right here.
right.
Well, okay, there's no factor into it. If someone actually, let's say, was driving and they had a GoPro attached to their dash and they see a blur go across the screen, on a freeway or on a highway, and they're saying, hey, this is what I saw. It was a dog man. It's what it looked like. Well, and then they put the credibility behind it. It was, the certain time, the date, and the story behind the photo that has more, backing than just someone going out into a tree line, just taking photos of just random leaves
Right.
and dark shadows. So it's like, if there's a story behind the picture, to me, it's more believable. So
Yep. I would agree.
I have
Yeah.
I have to laugh a little bit when you said DA and his red circles. And I know about DA and his red circles. So Chris and I were going through some of my pictures, some photos in which we were all in the same place with DA.
uh,
He did have a dogman experience encounter.
uh,
And so I sent him this picture that I had. And I said, I know you don't like red circles, but how about a yellow triangle? So I drew out a triangle on it. And then I sent him the
Approved.
picture.
Yeah.
as long as it's not a red circle, it's got to be a yellow
Yeah.
triangle.
Why not?
Hey, you're just throwing out a different idea of how to research. Just don't use red
I
circles.
don't know. Let's triangulate on this situation.
Exactly. Hone it in, with a different, shape.
Right. That's funny.
That's
Yeah,
the way to
'cause-
do it.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know,
That's
It's-
true. And like DA's even told me when I went on his podcast last June, and he said, Shane, no matter what, you can get the clearest photo of a dog man holding a sign of a dog man saying, hey, I'm a dog man. And you're still going to get people that are going to try to debunk it, say it's fake, or someone in the costume, just like the Patterson Gimlin film. There's people that still today that do believe that will debunk
Right.
it and say this is a person in the costume. It's just,
Yeah.
Bob Gimlin, of all people, got the death threats throughout all these years. Not just the death threats, but just the threats throughout the community, and
Sure.
to say, "Oh, this is fake," and that's why I do believe there is legit dogman photos out there. Not saying there's hundreds of them, but there is that $1 million photo, but someone doesn't want to post it out of fear of ridicule.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to address something here because I don't agree with this. Strangelyn says anyone on this topic should realize there's a lot more than just straightforward views by somebody sitting and judging others, like Shane, you're doing now. I have to disagree because you know what? I don't know if you just came into the show, but Shane has not said just views one way. I mean, he is open to all of the different, be it interdimensional, flesh and blood.
Yes.
You know, I'll let you elaborate a little bit on that and maybe explain to Strangeland your views.
Yeah, Strangeland, I'm not, debunking or saying one way is the right way. I agree. What got me into this was the photos that had the red circles where you see something. If you really want to see good photos, you can contact me and I can send you the photos that made me a believer and jump into this. I'm not saying any one way is right. I'm telling you the way I started was the photos that, could be pareidolia, but, there's no backing to it. I grew more into my research into where I wanted the evidence. I never once said that, going out into the tree line's wrong way of research. Hey, you're talking to the guy that was a believer because of it. I'm not saying, I'm not discrediting anyone's research or theories. I just say you got to keep an open mind at the end of the day to all of this. There's no right way. And like Krista said earlier, there's no experts in these things. I have my own theories. Krista and Brandy have their own theories.
Absolutely.
Tex had his own theory. I don't believe that dogmen are, flesh and blood. I do believe if they're here and they're eating on a carcass and you see them breathing, then yeah, they're flesh and blood. But then you hear stories where they're wearing suits and coming out of portals. I mean, obviously that's interdimensional right there. There's no experts in it. It's people telling their encounters. So Strangeland, if you want to reach out to me, I'd be more than happy to have a phone call with you and tell you my viewpoints. I'm not saying I'm an expert, and it's one thing I'm not.
Right.
Well, speaking of DA, I see DA out there right now.
Hey, what's up, DA?
Ready? Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that because I don't believe that you were coming off in a negative way or downing anyone.
I hope not. I don't mean to disrespect anyone in this form of research. I wasn't. I was telling you different theories, my own way of coming up as a researcher. I'm not all about the photos anymore. I see some really good ones still. I'm still part of a lot of dogman groups. I don't, like Krista said, I scroll past them if I don't see anything. But if it's a legit one, I'll throw a wow emoji on it. Yeah, but it's just, I'm not about that. That form of research. But I'm one of those guys that will scroll past and not, hey, your freaking photo is just pareidolia and leaves. It's not like that.
For me, I guess I got to say, been doing paranormal for many, many years. And so, we're trained to you take photos of 3 and as Brandy's famous thing, when in doubt, throw it out.
Yep.
So my mentality is still on paranormal pictures, ghosts and orbs that are dust or things like that. So my problem is I'm having a hard time accepting that. To me, it looks like pareidolia. However, it really could be a dogman or a Bigfoot there, but my mind is going back to the paranormal with the pareidolia because we're trying to find that. That's what we want to do is debunk, So, and maybe I'm too critical on some pictures. That's why I just don't comment.
That's the best thing to do. Like you said, why be that negative person and throw a wrench in someone else's tire? It's just scroll past.
Exactly.
There might be a photo where one person will post and then 30 people see it. And I've been one of those people. I've seen it. I see like, hey, I see it there. But then you get that one negative a-hole that goes and says, hey, this is that.
Right.
Well, dude, you just threw a wrench in their tire. Why can't you just scroll past? I mean, even with Daryl's group, I'm a moderator in that group. I know you're an admin and Brandy's an admin. We see that these people, as fast as his group's grown, you get those one people that will post the photos. We might not see it, but we don't see anything. But you get that new guy that just joined yesterday and say, hey, this and that. We have to address that.
Right.
It's why can't people just scroll past? That's where this community just doesn't move on because, like earlier, DA said you can have the best photo. People are still going to debunk it no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you said, people think Patty is not real. I 110% believe that's a real, true photo myself.
Well, especially for 1968, the way that thing, they didn't have the technology to make a suit or a mechanically inclined suit to walk like that. That was filmed in Northern California, about 10 hours north of where I'm at. So exactly. We have people that still try to debunk it nowadays. So
Strangeland has another comment here, and I'll put it up here, and I can appreciate that. Said, okay, fair enough. I'll send you girls some stuff next show, and you present it. Is that okay? Absolutely. You're more than welcome to send it to us, and we can forward it on to Shane, and
I'd love to see it anyway.
Yeah. Well, we absolutely.
I mean, Krista and I are just now getting into this, so anybody that has experience or photos, videos, audio, I'd love to hear it, see it. I can't learn if nobody's showing me anything.
Right.
So
And
I'm
you know,
excited.
yeah.
Bring it on.
When I had my first Bigfoot encounter, I didn't even know it was a Bigfoot, and it was just the weird, ominous feeling and that I got. And then we were joking that maybe it was a raccoon out there, making us scared or whatever, because ghosts don't scare me, but I was scared that night. There's something not right, and so fast forward, 6 months that we found out that it was a Bigfoot. Our friend that we had mentioned earlier that's in the hospital, Jessica Potter, she just brought it up out of the blue. Tell me what happened over there. I'm like, what do you mean what happened? We didn't post it on Facebook. We didn't.
What?
Nothing. She's seen my dog. She's seen the camper. She's seen it all. And she said, you had a Bigfoot out there. That's how I knew it was a Bigfoot. I had no idea.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that same location,
Uh-huh.
last September, we did an event, Fall into the Supernatural out there. And DA was our speaker on the cryptid side of it. And on Friday night, he did the Bigfoot. And on Saturday was the Dogman. And so Friday night, we had a big bonfire. And I was sitting next to his wife. And we had something tossed at us. And there was like 30 people there that witnessed it, including Brandy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I was looking straight at him when it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wow.
since then we've come up. Another guy that was in the sitting there, he had been taking pictures all around there, and the same gal that said about the Bigfoot experience for me, seen that he had posted it, and she's like, "Well, what is this?" And she did circle it in a red circle, and we sent it to DA to look at, and he did whatever he does, and you can clearly see something there. So
Wow.
yeah, and it was. Yeah. So I've teased our friend Jessica. I told her, I said, you might have some kind of connection with these cryptids, that you can see them or something, because she's not really into the cryptid thing.
Yeah. It's
But
more paranormal, right?
Yeah. And just as plain as day, she's like, oh, you had a Bigfoot watching you, So
yeah. And just the tendency of what was thrown at you was a rock. I mean, that's screams.
and Dawn
Sasquatch
Baker,
or
she's
Bigfoot.
out in the chat. She was there as well. So
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then when DA left that night, it was after midnight, and he and his wife and kids were going to their hotel, and it wasn't too far outside of the ranch. It was a horse ranch. They seen what he thinks is a dog man across in front of them.
I think I remember him saying about that. Was it
Yeah.
kind of grayish or black? I think I don't remember the key details. I don't mean to butcher it, DA, but yeah, I think I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
that was the
podcast.
same night I took the pictures and did the orange or the yellow triangle.
Yeah, he said he saw something just down the road.
Hey.
Yeah, and he just said, I think it was a dog man on all fours.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and I've spent a lot of time out there at that ranch and several years, and never nothing wonky. There's ghosts out there. I've known that, and that, like I said, they don't scare me. I've been out in the middle of the night out there, sat out by myself, but that one night, and now here, I'm getting confirmation, and then, actually witnessing something being thrown, and, it's kind of crazy. Like, I guess if they wanted to hurt me, they would have,
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think about with the whole Sasquatch and Dogman, or Dogman especially, is that they use humans as a form of, entertainment. I've heard that theory. Not saying it's true, but they will, people see them. I've heard of plenty of encounters where the Dogmen are on all four, and people think, oh, it's just a giant gray black wolf. Or and then it, you hear the bones cracking in place, and then it stands up and it's 7-8 feet tall.
Yeah.
People get PTSD just from seeing it. So, it's just I do believe they use this to terrorize us. Or you see them snarl, and people are freaked out and run away. They say don't run away from it, back away slowly. But you listen to so many encounters and read on them. They use us as a form of entertainment, I guess.
Right.
That's pretty much what it chopped up to be. That's what I've been told and what I've read, and you can see it. They're obviously an intelligent species or creature or whatever they are. I do believe that to a certain degree they are flesh and blood. You look at the underground cave systems, the missing 411s with David Pilates. They almost interline, and it's like, what if they use these underground caves as a highway?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Undetected. And I don't believe they cloak. I believe that they can. You hear about the dogmen that are as, jet black. I believe, and then when you put a flashlight on them or any type of light, it bends the light. So, I mean, are they not camouflaging, I guess you'd say more camouflage, but just blending in with, bending the light and just blending in with their surroundings? That's, it's all theory based, but just the encounters you hear about that's an idea. I don't believe they cloak. I mean, we're not Harry Potter over here, but they might be able to. I'm not saying it is, but
right.
And it's really hard to say. I mean, my opinion is it's more like they can camouflage. That's my thing. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's like they're wearing their own kind of ghillie suit. They can blend right in without you even realizing they're there.
Exactly.
So, and and they may be able to cloak. Then again, I don't know. I
I
can't
haven't encountered that.
Yes.
I haven't encountered that. I don't know. But would I like to? Yeah. Absolutely.
Brandon wants to go see a dogman and a Sasquatch.
Exactly. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's how I am
You
too.
know?
I want to go see a dogman with my own eyes to prove their existence. But everyone's like, "You're crazy. Why would you go out and do that? These things are apex predators and will rip you apart." Well, hey, at least I'm out doing that. I research and I saw it with my own two eyes. But
DA makes a good point right here. It says deer are almost invisible in the woods until they move.
That's right. I know that for sure. I know that.
Yeah.
I was out actually doing a dogman investigation up near our research area back in May of last year with my wife, and we were walking. We got about maybe a 3 mile, or I'd say 3/4 of a mile in to the wood line, and we're just scanning around, looking at the area, and all of a sudden you hear just a little twig snap. We looked over, and it's a doe just sitting there. I was like, "How did I not catch that?" And I'm looking, scanning 360 up, down. Didn't ever see it, but you hear the one little tree or twig snap, and there was a doe. So
right.
100% correct on that.
Yep. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And that's let's see here. I do have a question for you. You and I have something in common. We have horses.
Yes.
And I know from being in the paranormal world, I do reenactments, and I have a horse that she's a strictly, we've used her for reenacting. And there's, we do our reenactments on haunted battlefields that are the battlefields. And my horse picks up on ghosts. Literally, like she just gets all kinds of stupid and crazy when there's a ghost, around. So my question to you, what do you feel about, have you been like riding and then like with a cryptid? Because I feel like if my horse is that sensitive to the ghost, a horse, you pay attention to them because watch their ears. If they turn this way, something they're focusing on, or, there's a deer, it could even be a rabbit, but there's something they're seeing. How do you feel like with the horses and the cryptids, if you're out riding? And to me, I feel like that they would see it.
100%. Just like a dog picking up a sixth sense. I do believe, like you said, their ears are constantly moving. They're like microphones or, satellite dishes picking up whatever they see. And we all know that horses, when their ears perk up, obviously there's something that picks up their attention. So I've never personally have had that riding out on the trails or out on the ranch, but I've heard encounters and I've seen, I don't know, take TikTok videos as credible evidence, but you see this one gentleman that's in Texas. I don't know if it was a dogman or a skinwalker, but you hear this like lady screaming, and you see that horse's ears just perk up, and then it turns back around and it bolts back to the ranch. And the dude's just, he's recording, and he hears this woman just screaming, and it's like, what was that? It sounded like woman screams, but that we obviously associate that certain encounters. People have said they've dogmen reenact those sounds, but a lot of skinwalker sounds. I mean, being in Texas, it probably be possible, but you see that video and the ears just perk up. It's like, what is that? And I don't think they predict that it is a cryptid. I think that they just say, hey, danger, get out of the area. Just like typical horse. They're a flight animal. So their first instinct is to take off. So
Exactly. I just want to give a quick shout out to Pat Murphy. Thank you very much. She says, good show tonight. Thank you for all your prayers. And Pat, I've been keeping you in my prayers, and we'll continue.
Yes, you've been there, Pat. We think about you all the time.
Yep. We appreciate you very much. And people have made comments here about the horses. They let's put that comment up. Horses have been known to catch the smell or hearing of cryptids before the human will. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Jeff's right on that.
Well, I mean, it would only stand to reason. I mean, they can smell, any type of predator. They know they're there well before we do. So,
yeah, this is kind of funny. Horses and cryptids, hold on tight. You're not kidding, John.
Make sure you're in the saddle.
Yeah, if you're in the saddle, you better.
We're back. You're flying.
Yeah. Right. You better.
Have experience. That's why I will only ride in the saddle now.
Right.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Dude, have you ever thought about, like, when you do these investigations, going out about taking your horse and riding through some of these places?
That's the only thing. I'm down to one now. So either I go out solo, which they say, like Nick Valente says, don't go out with less than 7 people. I would only be by myself. My wife would either be on the horse, or I would be trailing, or she'd be having to stay at home. You know? So that's the only thing. I would love to go deep up into, Tahoe or Yosemite National Forest with a group of investigators and just go packing in deep in, like I'd say 10, 15 miles, where you're going to get, some activity. Because Sasquatch, they the dogmen, they come around the tree lines, but they never leave past the tree lines. I think they're more away from humans, so they go deeper into the forest. So I think the best way to get evidence, like you look at the Sierra Sounds, those are probably the most iconic sounds that we've got of Sasquatch that came out of California, but those gentlemen packed in pretty deep. So I would love to take my horse out. I don't know if she would, because she's a diva. She doesn't even like leaving the stables, but I would definitely love to do that as a form of, I think just like you look at Patterson Gimlin film, Bob and can't think of the other gentleman's name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah. But they were riding on horseback. They were 8 to 10 miles in, and they had a recorder, and then they see Patty walking right by that stream.
Yeah.
So they were horseback, but that's where I think, like you said, they would pick up vehicles or people hiking in, or just the scent, but maybe they didn't pick up the scent and only picked up the horses, thinking, oh, they're just wild horses. I mean, it's just theory based, but obviously they got the most clearest evidence of a Sasquatch.
Right, exactly. I hadn't heard. Do you know if their horses like freaked out or acted up? I really haven't.
Not that I heard. I think it was, wasn't it? Patterson was the one I think that recorded, but I think he got off the horse, or they were sitting there and they were just standing there. They weren't hobbled or anything. They were just just standing there, like to say, stop your horse, and then just started recording as Patty was walking by. That's what I know of. I haven't really dove deep into that because I'm not really much of a Sasquatch investigator, but hey, if I see a Sasquatch out in the woods, guaranteed I'm going to be just as excited. I mean, we've seen a cryptid that science hasn't proved yet to be real. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. And there's so many people that do go out riding. I'm on a lot of, like, on Facebook, a lot of horseback riding groups and stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people that, like, they go to the LBL to ride, and I'm thinking, is that a smart thing? Because if they only knew, and even the lady that does my hair, she told me she's went riding at the LBL. She's got horses. And I'm like, do you know what's at the LBL? She's like, no, what?
You're like, do I tell her, or do I get the tinfoil out, or what? I mean, it's hard for the, the close-minded people to understand, hey, there's a freaking werewolf in there, or a dog man that killed 4 people in 1982. Right. I mean, allegedly. I mean, I don't know how true, I know a lot of people have researched it, remote viewed it, and I believe it did happen, honestly. I do too. But obviously everything's covered up, just like everything nowadays. People, the missing 411s. Oh, dog attack.
Yeah.
You really think wild dogs are out in Kentucky killing people, little kids especially? I don't buy it.
Yeah, somebody asked you a question about that, and I figured after the break, we got a couple minutes, and we'll touch on that when we come back from the break. That was asking you about that, but so these people that go out riding, and all these places, and here's the thing, and I'm bad for this too, like looking up. I don't look up.
Same here. I'm looking down.
Right. Whether walking or whatever, I'm afraid, I don't want to trip over a rock or tree.
Yeah. When you're deep in the woods, you don't want to trip over a tree branch or a stump or something. And, exactly. I mean, that's where I think you should almost do the Scott Carpenter deal and have 2 cameras or 1 camera facing behind you. So it's looking up or looking behind. picking up a
Yeah.
360 view. So
Right, exactly. That's, so I feel like, not enough people look up, and maybe if they would, we might have more encounters.
that's very true. They say dogmen like to hang out up in trees. So
Yeah.
hey. Oh, shoot.
Whoop,
There he went.
there he went.
There he went. He'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, he'll come back.
I
There he
can't
is.
tell you how many times that has happened to me.
I am so sorry.
It's all good. You took a nosedive. Speaking of Tristan,
It happened to me. My whole thing just kind of turned and went off.
right.
And it was
Sorry.
sitting on a tripod, so I don't know how that happened, but it did.
Yeah.
I
It's
know I've got
happened
my
to all of us.
tablet open and it's like maybe only 2 feet of, microphone cord. And it's just like, oh, shoot.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
For sure. If anybody has any comments or questions for Shane, put them in all caps, please. And then the second half of the show, we'll answer questions. So it's we're about ready to take our 5-minute break.
Yeah. See, we got spoiled. We got to talk to Shane about a week ago. So
I know, right?
so a
Or
lot of these questions, we asked him last time. So, it's nice to see some new questions out there. So
Yeah.
this is cool.
Yep. And I've been seeing some. So if you guys just give us 5 minutes, stick around. It'll do the countdown, and come back and see us. And we've got more for Shane because I have more questions for him. So we'll be
Awesome.
back in 5 minutes, everybody.
3 and 5.
I don't know what Krista's doing. So I'm going to find this myself. Hang on, guys.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Thanks for sticking it out with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. And good night, Pat. She said she has to go. She's getting up early. So,
Hi, Pat. Thanks for joining.
yeah, absolutely. Let's
Let me clear something up real quick. Krista, you hit the wrong video. You gave me the 30-second countdown.
I did what?
So after the 30 seconds, it was just me sitting here. I was like, okay.
Uh-oh.
So I went and found the video. I put the video on.
Oops.
I said, here we are. This is today. Did you not say that happened on Bigfoot Michigan Rob show?
Yeah. My bad, everybody.
And the second thing is I was so proud before the show. I was talking to Krista and I'm telling her I'm getting cozy in my office. I got my coffee warmer here. You know, I turned it on, had my coffee there. I reached down to grab my cup, not looking, burnt my finger on the coffee warmer. I was like, this is not happening.
No, it's been a heck of a day. My bad. I did not mean to do 30-second countdown. To be honest with you, I had to pee really bad, so I threw it up there and I ran back to the bathroom. So,
I looked up and I was like, wait a minute. There's no music. Wait.
Uh-oh.
uh-oh. My
But
bad.
I found it.
My bad. Sorry.
Yep.
Oops.
Oops. Yeah. Oops.
So everybody got 30 seconds extra. 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Once
That's a
again,
record.
this is why we call this Blondes and Booze.
Blondes. Emphasis on the blondes.
Right.
But I found it. So I mean, I'm getting the hang of it. It's really hard for me to run the show from my setup. So I have to like kind of block everything out and then go find it. But I did it.
You did it though. Hey, saved the day.
Brandy.
Not Brandy.
We appreciate it. Or I do anyway, for sure.
Gotta have a good co-host.
Yes.
Be kind to the giggling Swiss Miss.
Right. That's it. So Shane, got a question for you. Is there any cases that you're working on now that you can talk about?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, when I was a part of the NADP, we didn't. The West is kind of silent right now. We're not getting a whole lot of reports in. There was one. I mean, we talked, I think, on Texas show that there was a gentleman that had reached out to Daryl or reached out to you, then reached out to Daryl that we went to go. I met up with another investigator in California, and him and I and my wife, we drove down to go interview the homeless and to also interview the gentleman. And he said that there was hundreds of dogmen in the area, and swears that they were terrorizing him. So we went down to the airstrip, which is in Riverside County, and we interviewed the guy, and we started walking around and checking out his property. There was just, we didn't say, I don't think it was dogmen. Maybe it was one. I don't believe it was 100. There was no evidence of structural damage, or he was saying they were hanging out in the palm trees. Dogmen are reported to be anywhere from 400 to 700 pounds roughly. Just thinking of the size of these things, say 400 pounds, but you would have seen a broken branch, a broken limb. So we didn't see that. So we went down to the river where one gentleman had said he'd seen crazy things. So we interviewed him, and he'd said, there's weird things happening. I've seen 2 of them at night. I'm like, okay, well, now we're on to something. But he said they looked more cat-like. So I'm thinking, okay, they're probably mountain lions.
Right.
Really, and then we found out, which was odd. The gentleman had said that he'd seen Black Hawk helicopters flying around in the area. We checked it out. We did see a helicopter, but it was a news helicopter. So then he was really looking for just any evidence to try to not leave us disappointed. And then it's like, hey, we're not saying that you're wrong or right. We're just here to see if you have any evidence. He was really trying hard. But when we landed over to a certain area before we ended the day, there was a conservation area. And right there, conservation area tells you that, hey, they blocked something off for a reason. So I'm thinking, okay, back of my hairs are standing up. Hey, is there a dog man? Not sure if it really was. Went home. We only talked to 5 homeless out of the 30 that we tried interviewing, or I wouldn't even say it was 30. I want to say it was closer to 20. A lot of them didn't want to talk, or they were just not in their mentally right mind. So we kind of just walked on. But the one thing that really stood out to me was, I don't believe it was Dogman. Researching the area in the Mount Rubidoux is where the exact location was, that they used the Mount Rubidoux as a smuggling tunnel during the 1930s for Prohibition. And a lot of hikers hike that trail every single day. And there's been people that have seen glyphs, where the rocks are stacked 3 to 4 high. And then other people that have jogged the trail have had rocks thrown at them. So I'm thinking it might have been either a clan of Sasquatch that are in the area, just kind of venturing down from the mountain and into the town near the strip. But, our evidence, all 3 of us, my wife, my other investigator, and myself, didn't really think it was Dogman. So that's the most recent one, and that was in December. The gentleman, if you want to hear his encounters, you can check him out on Jeff Nadolny's. That's where he went and told the story originally. That's what we listened to before I did my research. I always, as an investigator, researcher, podcaster, before I interview someone, I always try to see if they have anything else to see if their stories will match up, And a lot of the time, everyone's stuff matches up. And that's where, if they kind of like slip up or they change the story a little bit, then that's where you're thinking, okay, maybe they're just telling you a creepypasta. So it's really hard to differentiate, but it can also be really easy to tell who's a fake and who's not.
Right, exactly. When he reached out to us on Blondes and Booze, that was like way above what we do. We are not dogmen people.
Exactly.
Never claimed to be. I'm like, because some of the stuff he was saying, I'm like, holy cow, this guy's being tormented.
Yeah. And it sounded really creepy, not creepy, but terrifying. I mean, he's reaching out to Daryl. Daryl and Jeremiah were willing to drive down, from New York. And where's Daryl at? Tennessee or West Virginia?
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. They were willing to drive out to California. But, as a friend, we're clear across the United States from each other. But he reached out and said, hey, Shane, do you mind going and doing this for me? And, as a friend, I would do it for anybody. If you ladies had someone that reached out to you from Northern California and say, hey, we got this dog, man, guarantee I'm going to get a crew together and we're going to drive up there. So just doing it for the friendships and doing it for another person, vice versa.
Well, and honestly, I mean, we've talked about this before. That's why Krista and I love what we do, because if you come to us with a problem, no matter what it is, we know somebody.
Exactly.
I mean, look at where you're at. We're in Missouri. We've got people in Michigan, Texas, Florida, the Carolinas, Virginia, just everywhere. We've got people everywhere. If you've got a problem, just let us know and we'll see if we can help you.
And we say that even if it's paranormal, cryptid, UFO, we know people who know people.
That's what's so awesome about you ladies being in the paranormal field, that you ladies are opening up to the cryptids to where you're expanding out, and that someone that might, not want the ridicule can reach out. And it's 2023. I think 20 years ago they might have been considered crazy, but it's becoming the norm now that people are opening up more. So someone that doesn't want the ridicule can reach out to Brandy, Krista, and then, like you said, you can put them in connection with the right person, and that maybe help them out. And that's what the cryptid community is all about, is helping one another.
Exactly. And that's what it's about for us, just, we're all into this for the same reason. And I don't discredit anybody's story that they tell me, and same thing with the paranormal. When we go to doing a private case, it's all about the evidence. So just because, we didn't collect any evidence, I'm not saying that's not, your house isn't haunted, but we personally didn't experience anything or collect any type of evidence, or it could be just the opposite, because we go in with the mindset of trying to disprove it, as it sounds like what you did with this Dogman case. I mean,
you try to find a logical explanation for the events that are happening.
Exactly. So. And not to say the gentleman didn't see it. Another thing that threw me off was when he said the Dogman that was running across the airstrip turned back and looked at him, and I don't remember the exact words, but it communicated with him. I was like, is that infrasound or was it mind speak?
Sure.
Didn't ever discredit the gentleman. I'm not saying, he's crazy, he's on drugs. No, nothing like that. Maybe I've heard plenty of cases where Dogman and Sasquatch have communicated with people. So to say the guy's crazy, no. I just, like you said, the evidence we didn't support, the investigation that say, hey, it was Dogman. When I first started out in the field a year and, I'd say a month and about 13, 14 months ago, we were going deep into my research area, and I found, a tree structure. It looked like Sasquatch. Well, then we found a big old lump of fresh poo. And my wife's like, what is that? And, just talking to DA and being a rookie researcher, I'm trying to, get on, learn everything. I was about ready to bag it up and send it off to DA just for any evidence. But my wife said, absolutely not. You're not putting bear scat. When I got to better service, we ended up investigating and looking it up and saying, oh, it was fresh pile of black bear poo. And I almost went to DA, for research. He's like, hey, anything evidence you get, send it to me. But the wife put the hammer down on that and was like, I'm not traveling 2 hours back home with fresh pile of bear poo in the back of my so it's just like, you got to really know what's that. But that's, as a rookie researcher, growing in your research and investigations, you learn what to look for and what not to look for. So
exactly. And like I said, Brandy and I are still in the learning phase, and I think we'll always be in the learning phase, even with the paranormal. We'll always be.
Well, because just like you said, you're always learning. You can almost equate that to with horses. When you get these people that, I've been riding for 30 years, I'm an expert. Well, that dude goes and gets bucked off his horse, but he still can't figure out the reason. Horses teach us something every single day. That's why I live by the saying, it's green on green equals black and blue. You put a green person on a green horse, they're going to end up black and blue. So
exactly, that's true.
At the same time, with that, there's no experts in horses. We obviously know that there's, advanced people, but a horse will teach you something new every day.
Yep, that
just
they
like
do.
Cryptids.
Yeah, and what works for one horse might not work for another. I've learned that. I've owned many horses in the years, and I feel like the same thing. Even being out researching for these different cryptids, what worked this time doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work this time.
100%. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. So it just it's kind of crazy. Let me we got a question here for you. Okay. Let's see here. Let's put it up. Gene Hudson asked, Shane, I would like to ask you what you think of all the news stories that blame dogs for people's deaths. There are some really questionable ones.
Yes. And I think we talked about it on Texas show last week about the one in Missouri. Was it covered up? I mean, we can also go into the Corey Godseed case. That to me screams dog, man. That's to me the Brenda Hamilton case. I know Bettina Moss is actually interviewing the gentleman from Abnormal Investigations tonight, and they were going on a part 2, but he's the one that dives into these unknown canine attacks and gets the autopsy reports. And so Gene, I honestly do believe that the government does cover it up out of fear of people freaking out that this person was just mauled by a dog man. I don't know if dogmen are just getting more comfortable with humans as the sightings are increasing, knowing that they can venture out closer and closer because they've been seen in alleyways, going through dumpsters late at night. But the attacks, I mean, what's provoking the attacks? What happened with LBL? You hear the different theories of the perfume effect, the pheromones. I don't really believe in that. I believe it was just, a dog man just happened to attack a family. It could be all types of reasons. It could be the time of the year. It could be the time of the day. Maybe someone that's dog man's a loner from the pack, if they do, travel by pack, and it's just a loner looking for food, and this person just happened to be an unfortunate victim.
Right, exactly. Brandy and I, we sat with Martin Groves there at the LBL while he told his story, and Barton, filmed him on it. And I got to tell you, you want to talk about a credible witness. You could feel his words from his heart. That he was talking, and I have no doubts his incident. He was terrorized by a dogman at the LBL. I have no doubts.
100%.
Well, not only was it an awesome thing, it was creepy. I mean, we're sitting there talking about his experience in the land between the lakes, about dogmen. We're in the dark around a campfire in the LBL. What? It's just, what could be more creepier than that? Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
Your hair on the back of your neck would just standing up.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
What does Barton have to gain from this? He's not gaining any publicity.
No.
He's former law enforcement. Like he said, he was 18 years old when he got into law enforcement, and he had to wait till after he retired. It's like, why would this gentleman lie about it? I don't.
Exactly.
Barton, to me, is either the best one I've heard other than Joe Barger's encounter, or it's definitely top 5 for sure. I don't think I've ever heard. And he doesn't ever rush into it. He's very calm, relaxed, and he just explains it. It's sad for this gentleman to have to relive it every single time when he talks about it, but he does. It's like you said, it's not out of publicity or anything like that. He's just telling his encounter. Yeah. You can believe him or not.
And that's the thing. You nailed it, Shane. These people have everything to lose, nothing to gain by coming out. And that's, to me, is worth a lot.
Just like you said, nothing to gain. Joe Barger's up in Michigan. He's just a truck driver. To try to remember his encounter to full detail. Well, I think at the very end of it, didn't the government agency reach out to him and said, "You killed one of our assets"? I mean, in Michigan, the home of the Michigan dog man. It's just this truck driver just driving, carrying a load, not trying. He's just. What does he have to lose from this? I really don't. Believe he's trying to gain anything out of it. You can believe him or not believe him. It's up to you, the people listening. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's how it all began with Krista and I. We were just sitting out on our deck one night at midnight, like we always do, just sitting out there talking, drinking some tea. And she says, "Well, what do you think about dogmen?" And that's how it all began. Now, see, I'm from Michigan.
Oh,
so
okay.
These stories, I've heard them all my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just now I didn't realize that they were everywhere. I was just a small town girl. I didn't know about nothing.
Yeah, you hear the folklore, right?
Right. And then now with all these stories that I believe are 100% true, I am surprised I'm still alive. We were running as kids out in the woods. There'd be a couple of us. We'd be running around playing not thinking anything.
Being a kid.
Yeah. Now I know better.
Not thinking about lions or bears or anything. Just being a kid, playing hide and go seek.
Yeah, I was raised with the belief that there's nothing in the woods going to hurt you.
100%. I agree.
I was told that my whole childhood. However, now, my kids, I'm not going to allow them to go running around out in the woods because there's stuff out there that will hurt you. And not only scripted, there's bears, there's cougars and stuff like that here in Missouri too,
because I was always told about, the bears and the snakes and the, all that kind of stuff. But was I worried about dogmen? No. I was
I
never
not.
even thought of it.
talking, you know? Yeah, exactly. Letitia said Joe's story is incredible also. Such an incredible man.
Oh, 100% Letitia. I totally agree.
Mhm.
When Josh Nanokio interviewed him, or it was on Josh Nanokio's channel, I think it was when Barton interviewed him. It was like a 30
Yeah.
minutes. You could tell the man is just, he's not fidgety. He's
Yeah.
not, showing signs of lying. He just sit there calm and saying, hey, I think he said he was 54 at the time. I'm a 50-year-old truck driver and this is my encounter. And then he explains it detail for detail.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey, Al.
Hey, Al.
Ow.
Watch Father.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just so much more to it. Like, the
Yeah.
Beast of Bray Road. So small world is, as everybody knows, I'm here in Missouri. And a lady that runs, she was the president of our saddle club.
Mhm.
And she kind of figured out by being friends with me on Facebook, like I'm into the weird stuff, the freaky stuff. And so,
Aren't we all?
right? So
Yeah.
she told me, she said, do you know that what's that TV show? God, blonde moment, I'm losing it. Josh Gates
Oh, okay.
interviewed her cousin
Mhm.
on the Beast of Bray Road. And I was like, really? Wow. Wow. And she said that actually happened. Her cousin owns that property.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So how cool was that? It's a small world. So she and
Yeah,
I,
that's definitely a small world.
yeah, just that, she's the president of the saddle club. She kind of got me off to the side because, she didn't want to make an announcement that we're both
Right.
free, you know?
Closed-minded. We're open-minded. Let's collaborate.
Right.
That's still one of my things is I want to go to Bray Road. I want to go to LBL. And, out in California, I've got the luxury of being centered, 2 hours away from the ocean, 2 hours away from the mountains, 2 hours away from the desert. It's just like, we don't get a whole lot, where people even coming forward. So it's just like one of the most legit photos on the NADP archives came from Northern California. But then again, that's still a 12-hour drive for me to even get to even go check it out. It's just
Right.
And I think the economy, not to get into politics or economical stuff, it's just more fuel out here in California is expensive. So, and when you drive a 3/4 ton truck that only gets maybe about 10 miles of the gallon, you're going to be spending close to $1,000 one way there, $1,000 one way back.
Right.
So it's out in the Pennsylvania, Missouri, the dogman encounters are out there, but out here in the West, I don't think we get a whole lot of people coming forward with what they've seen because of the ridicule. But when I was with the NADP, it was just, I would read the encounters, and a lot of them, even talking to the former Region 1 director, she talked to a lady that had told her about an encounter back in 2000, 22, 23 years later. So it's just like, yeah, it was in the Santa Cruz Mountains, which is also another hot spot. If you listen to Vic Cundiff and Jeff Nadolny, they talk about the Santa Cruz Mountains with dogmen sightings. And, there's got to be some credibility to that. But then again, we can't just send a crew out there to go investigate something that happened 23 years ago.
Sure. So, absolutely. Absolutely. You've got a question here, Shane.
Yeah.
Real quick. If you would, Corey Cole asked, what is your email?
You can reach me at Corey at SMC crisp or smcrisp35@yahoo.com.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then we got several comments and stuff going up. So Addie Overbay says, I live about 20 to 30 minutes away from Cook County, Tennessee. I remember when the bodies were found and I feel that it was a dogman. The cops covered it up.
Wow. Now, was the Cook County, was that the Corey Godsey case? Or no, he was Kentucky, I think, right? Or
yeah, I'm not sure.
Addie, if you can put in the comments, or was it the Brenda Hamilton? I think she was in North Carolina, I think.
Yeah, I'm not.
Cops covered it up.
Yeah, I don't believe the cops covered it up. I believe it was the government.
The government, yeah, especially the 3-letter agencies. They,
Yep. Yeah, because I don't.
That stuff up good.
The police are like us. I think they're at a loss too. I mean, because
100%.
I personally have my brother's a police officer, and I know several police officers. Yeah. So I don't.
Oh, I agree. I mean, in Ohio, Jeff Nadolny talks about, because he posts several times a day. But in one encounter, this other cop, he saw a dog man, and I think it was Northeast Ohio, I want to say, and it ran across. And I don't remember if it was an attack or whatnot, But to get to the end of the story was another officer told him just on the report, just write a black bear. It was a black bear that you seen. He's like, but it wasn't a bear. They, like you said, they're just like us. They're just doing a job, but then they have to write up an investigation, and they don't want the scrutiny either.
Right.
Especially with our border patrol.
Yeah. DA just commented, Cook County was 2 victims, Tony Aarons, and he can't remember the woman's name. If that's the one I remember, wasn't the one that she was out jogging or something possibly, and the other guy was possibly a homeless gentleman, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. Or not really homeless, but
yeah, I'm not too sure on that one. I have to check that one out. I think I've heard of it briefly listening to, I listen to every podcast. I try to catch up on everyone's, especially with the Blondes and Booze, Tex, Jason Van Buren, DA's podcast. I've just been so busy just trying to separate family life with, Dogman and cryptids, and then, with work and stuff. But hey, you can blend work and cryptids together, because my job involves I can put headphones in and do my job. So
that's me too. Yeah, that's me. I can't always watch, while they're live, but I always go back the next day. And that's like Bettina's on tonight. I'll hit hers tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I watch all the ones on my way to work, on the way home. Yeah.
Or even if you're not watching them, just having them play. I mean, that's the plus of having YouTube Premium, if you pay for it, is you can close your phone, save your battery, but still listen to the podcast. That's what I do with DAs. Like, those 2-hour long ones. If I have to drive 3 hours for work, hey, I'm putting that thing on first thing in the morning, drinking my energy drink, and I'm driving. Sorry, guys, can't watch it, but I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah. So I think I was right on this. DA said Amber Miller and Tony Aarons, they were attacked in the same area a few days apart.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I think I've heard that now that he said Amber Miller. That makes sense. Abnormal Investigations, Stephen Michael or whatever his, I think it was Michael. I think it goes by Mike. He covered that.
Yeah. I that's why one of the reasons why I want to go listen to Bettina. He's a great guest for her. And then there was one here that I had put up. Gene Hudson asked DA, did he read about the lady that was all torn up, and said her Great Danes did it. I just find it hard to believe Great Danes killed her. And that's with a lot of these. I think if there's a bully breed within a mile, they're going to get the blame, be it a pit bull, a Mastiff, a Great Dane, a Doberman, a Rottweiler. They're going to get the blame if there's one within a mile of it. I guarantee you.
Just like the Amazon driver, weren't those pit bulls, or
one was a English Mastiff and the other was a German Shepherd.
Executed,
that's the one that's in our home state.
Yeah, that's right.
DA.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
remember DA talked briefly about it, and that's when I'm like, hey, I know there's something to it. He even said one of his buddies, he didn't go into detail, but I remember DA saying he has somebody on the inside that told him it was like the most gruesome scene that he. I mean, then they didn't even do a DNA test on the dogs. So
exactly.
I mean, why don't they do that? At least tell us, that you did. But I mean, not to even include it in the report.
They didn't even make mention if the dogs had blood on them.
Oh, they didn't, huh?
No, they didn't say anything about it. They just said that the dogs were acting aggressive when the police entered the home. So they did away with the dogs, and that's the last we heard about the dogs.
I'll tell you what, I have an English Mastiff and I have a Blue Heeler. And I guarantee if someone walks in my house, a bunch of people making a lot of noise, as I'm sure they probably were, my dogs would turn aggressive as well.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is their home.
They're home too. Yeah, they're the front line.
Right.
To protect you.
Exactly. Yeah. DA said real quick on that Amber Miller, she was missing 40% of her tissue. That is awful.
Oh, my.
See, I've heard of dogman attacks, and they only eat in certain portions of the body. They don't eat, not to get gruesome or anything, but there's certain aspects of like a deer, for example, that they remove that you would think, why don't normal animals eat that? It's just they go for certain parts of it.
Yeah. And then Christy Crawford said yes, and there was a gag order in place on the hospital staff.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Christy, man, that is, wow.
That's normal. That's normal.
Cover up.
Yeah. And here DA says, going back to the Missouri one, says, yeah, in the Amazon thing, they never released the results of the necropsy. And that's true.
Wow. I'd like to see that autopsy report, but obviously, like DA said, they obviously
Yeah.
are releasing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll
You'll never
never
get
know.
the full story. I mean, unless you're on the
Yeah.
inside working for them, but then you're either silenced if you ever go live or try talking about it. I mean, not to get into the paranormal side of it or the UFOs and stuff, but like look at Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar came forward and said, "Hey, S4, is out in the Nevada desert, and we're working on anti-propulsion systems and working on ET craft."
Yeah.
And then his business to this day still gets raided, just because the government likes to mess with them. And they never
Right.
executed him or took him out, but they like to mess with them. Raid his office, whatever they have to do. But yeah, definitely screams cover up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
The powers that be don't want you to know.
yeah.
Exactly.
And Al said, if I remember correctly, Amber was still alive when the ambulance got there. God, that must have been awful, man.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine.
Unfortunate. Don't mean to laugh. I'm just thinking, wow, it's just like, yeah, I couldn't imagine being in the back of a ambulance still alive after a gruesome attack.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sitting here reading through here some of the comments. Yeah. DA also says that they get around it by keeping the case open. Once a case is closed, it's subject to FOIA requests. Open cases are not. So that makes sense.
I mean, DA was former law enforcement, so yeah, anything he
Yeah.
says, I'm like, hey, because he's more on the evidence side of
Sure.
everything. He wants to see that the autopsy
Mhm.
report, samples of anything. So I totally agree to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's crazy stuff. Crazy world we live in, So there's a couple more comments here. Robin says, I think the government covers up most of it. And Robin, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah, Robin is on, just like when they close down the national parks randomly, there's someone goes missing, or 2 or 3 people go missing, and then all of a sudden they shut the national parks down for a week or 2.
Yeah.
And then you see these Black Hawk helicopters flying in, which is possibly the 3-letter agencies going in and taking out this rogue cryptid. I mean, there's so many rabbit holes to jump down. Like DA was talking about on this podcast, yesterday, going down so many different rabbit holes. But you can talk about the Dogman, for example. One of the theories is they used him during the Vietnam War. And then after they did their mission, they released them, chipped them into the national parks. And then when they start going crazy or going rogue, that's when they shut it down and take them out. I mean, like I say, that's just a lot of people have said the same exact thing. Not saying it really happened. It's just something I've heard and something we just got to keep an open mind to. That's like trying to put 2 and 2 together. It's a never ending puzzle. You put one piece in, you're going to have to find, 4 more after that match up with that. So that's why I love the thrill of this. It's a thrill.
Yeah.
Trying to get unknown answers. Try to prove.
Absolutely. Let's see. We've got more back here. Let's go just start off the top here.
Ryan Tremblay, what's up, brother?
This one says, Strangeland, if you want to get a better view of what may be caught off guard in the woods, run 2 cameras, one at 1080p, the other at 144p zoom together. Hold them at areas much better. So that was just some advice. Appreciate
I was talking to a few other investigators the other day, and they're almost saying that instead of using these 1080p's or these, different types of cameras, just go back to the old 8mm or the 35mm. I mean, look at the Patterson-Gimlin film. That's what it was filmed on. Clear as day once they digitally enhanced it, but super stable.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why I love Polaroid. You slap one of them down on the table and you go, now tell me how that happened.
Exactly.
It's like,
try
there it
digitally
is.
altering this.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
Exactly. And then Corey says, you guys would be surprised what you pick up with your peripheral vision. I would agree.
100% agree, Corey. Whether that's cryptid or paranormal.
Yes.
Paranormal, you see something and then you look and it's gone. So,
Yeah.
Very, very true. Very true. And then let's see here. Jean says, I'm in Upper Michigan and there are many dogmen here as well as the forest people.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Michigan
sure
is
dogmen
the
have
hotspot.
not. Yeah.
I'm hoping to get, my brother owns some property up there in northern Michigan, and I'm hoping to get up there and do a little research.
Wow. That'd be
Now they
awesome
have
if you
done
could.
documentaries right in the backyard of his property.
Mhm.
Now he doesn't have a house or anything built there. He just takes, his camper and everything and just goes out there and parks it. There's nobody around. So I'm excited about going. One of these times we're going to make it.
That
Yeah.
would be a fun trip,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Yeah.
in the Upper Peninsula. There's a lot of activity,
Yeah.
according to the reports and the sightings.
Yeah. And
Oh, yes.
especially now knowing what we know now, you know.
Right. Right. Well,
You know.
the offer always is open for us, Krista, so don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah. But we know not just two dumb blondes go pop a tent and go sit in the middle of the woods by herself with nothing.
I would never do a tent. Now, let's take that back. No tent. Nope. It's going to be a
Nope.
camper.
Yep, that's the way to camp nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Be Kind says dogs acting aggressive when the human has been injured and strangers enter their home. Duh. I know dachshunds who would do the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mine. No,
Yeah.
actually, mine would just love on you and lick you to death and try to distract you from my body. That's it.
Right. And then Nightmare Net Production says several years ago in Georgia, a lady was found on the side of the road outside of her car, supposedly attacked by dogs. Why did she get out of the car? That's a great question.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I've heard
I
of
wouldn't have got
something
out of my car
like that.
regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me either.
But then again, what was
Yeah.
it?
Something
Yeah.
terrifying to try to get away from. Maybe, if you're out of gas or your car wouldn't start. I mean, so many different scenarios why she got out of the car, I would assume.
Right. Right.
Well,
But also-
and then you got to think about me being stupid. If I see something laying in the road, I'll get
Yeah.
out and check.
Yeah, it's curiosity. I think it's just human
Yeah,
nature.
I'll get
really.
out and check. Maybe she went to get out and check something
Yeah, it could have been
that was
anything,
playing
really.
dead. You never know.
Could have been a possum.
No, you absolutely
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. There's some more here. Real quick, Scott asked, what is Miss Moss link? I'd love to go there after this. Bettina's YouTube channel and her Facebook group is Crypto Normal. I think it's Crypto Normal Encounters with B Moss is I believe
Yes.
is what it is. So yeah, she's got some really good information out there too. She's actually a friend of ours, so we wholeheartedly support her show as well. And so yeah, you guys need to check her out. She did a show this evening, so either tonight after this show or tomorrow, go check out B's show for sure.
100%.
Yep, totally.
It's like I have to watch Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Krista. I have to go out at lunchtime because they come on at noon. So my lunchtime's at noon, so I go out there and I hurry up and get my phone on so I can watch it while I'm eating. I gotta get 30 minutes in, finish it up later,
takes a
but
little bit
still.
of time. I was in a
Yeah.
bad cell service area. I got the notification and I was like, and then I got on Facebook and it was real spotty and I was like, I'm gonna have to watch this later. BMR, Krista, you guys, Brandy, you all put on a good show always. Tex,
Well, thank you.
Jason.
Yep. Thank you very much. We
Thank
definitely
you.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Al says, I'm doing an investigation tomorrow night, all old school techniques, 35 millimeter and Polaroid camera, along with dowsing rods, crystal pendulum, and a compass.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Al
Absolutely.
Al is the one. I don't know if you've ladies interviewed Al.
We have him scheduled. We do have him
Oh, do
scheduled.
you? Okay. I don't want to ruin it. I'm just going to say Al's been in the paranormal and cryptids, pretty much born into the cryptids and paranormal. I'm just going to say that the man has seen this stuff and will tell you, it's one of my favorite interviews I've done with him. And because I'm more on the cryptid side, but he talks a little bit about the paranormal and wow.
Yeah.
Guy knows his stuff.
Right. I wholeheartedly agree with you. There's Robin here says, when taking photos, never put them in the middle of the photo. It will distort them, always off center. I didn't know that. That's a good piece of advice. Appreciate
what
that.
do you mean when you when you're
Instead of,
taking photos?
I think what she means is when you're taking a picture of something, don't center it in the picture. Put it off to the side more so, and not in the middle.
Oh, okay. And like you ladies say, shoot them in threes, right? Because you get a lot of people that take the photos of just the one print, and it's like, why not give an overall image of the area and then look for other prints too?
Yeah. And I believe that to be true, not only, paranormal capturing ghosts, but I believe with cryptid and the cryptid too, because if it is something out there, they're going to peer out and then they might go back behind a tree. Cause I know I witnessed this, me and Brandy did at the LBL, so if it's there one shot and not there the next, well, you have something that might be a little bit more credible.
Exactly. And these
Did
things,
you see what Corey Cole says? He goes, at Blondes and Booze, I never stop for anyone laying in the road. That's the oldest trick in the book. I wouldn't stop for people. I'd be calling 911. But me and my dumb self, if it were like a dog or something,
right?
The person on the side of the road, I think it's also human nature or Southern hospitality, even that people are going to help their fellow person out. I think but yeah, nowadays it's kind of hard to tell if you should help someone. But then again, I don't know if people, not to get religious or anything, but some people believe, say that angels come in all forms, that, if you don't help that person, I mean, not to jump into that. I'm just saying, it's just like, I see a homeless guy, if he's well dressed or, looks like, I might, not help him, but the guy that's, looks like he really needs just, that's not asking for money, but just asking for food, guarantee I'll go buy him a Big Mac or something. Just to, just to help the fellow person. It's just human nature. Yeah. Being humble.
And Al agreed, same thing. Shoot them in 3 and change the f-stops if you can.
Oh, okay. Yep. Shoot them in 3. Learned that earlier from Brandy and Krista.
Yeah.
Al's taught me a lot of cool things too, and that's built on my knowledge, but
and that's exactly like what we like to do. You can always learn something
every day. Like Krista says,
and then remind me of something because I always forget. So there.
Monster Radio says, I still think we need to keep the tulpa-like effect in mind. I'm not convinced that all of these are true cryptids. I would agree,
Yeah, I 100% agree with Ryan. Ryan's one of those I really look up to in the cryptid community because he looks at things on a different aspect, but he's also super knowledgeable. And, DA can attest to that. I was sharing some photos that were sent to me early on in my research. And I was just posting them up like, hey, these other researchers are sending them to me that these are allegedly dogmen. And Ryan commented on there, it wasn't rude or anything. He's like, hey, man, that photo's been debunked. Wait, well, okay, well, where's your evidence? I mean, you can't just go saying it's just pareidolia or just anything. But then Ryan actually broke it down, and it was the howling werewolf statue. You see the dog man sitting behind the light pole in Michigan, 1968 or 1969. But Ryan explains, hey, you can tell that it's a shadow because look at the square base at the bottom. I'm sitting there thinking, well, yeah, something that big, 8 to 9 feet, would project a bigger shadow, and you don't see the shadow in in the video or the picture. And he puts the photo of the howling werewolf next to that photo, and it's the same exact pose. So it's just, that's why I was like, Ryan, that guy is super knowledgeable, debunks things, and when it's legit, and it's people we need in the community like that.
Absolutely.
So,
and then once again, at the end of the day, still be friends.
Exactly. And there's some things that he's debunked that I might be like, well, I don't know if it's that because I wasn't there, but I don't say, Ryan, you're wrong. It's just like, I say, hey, well, I just don't see it.
Yeah. Brandy and I, we actually, when we were at the LBL, she took a picture and she and I disagree on it wholeheartedly.
No. I'm with you. I mean, go ahead. But after a while, when I started looking through all of it, I'm tracking with you, Krista. So go ahead and tell the story.
Okay, so it started out, we were all seeing these things, peek behind trees, and then we all started seeing these different orbs all around us. And so Brandy, she did her pictures in 3s, and in one of the pictures, she has what looked to be like maybe possibly a dog man.
Oh, wow.
And so, just looking on the phone, everybody got excited about it. And then when I got to looking, she sent it to me and I kind of blew it up. Well, in the background, the tree line, and, it's up on a hill and it was starting to get dark. And it was almost dark. And you could see the background to it almost looked like, the darkness setting in. So excuse me, I disagreed with everybody that night. I'm like, this is what I think it is. However, we're still friends.
Exactly, the best of friends too.
Well,
Yeah.
and then, because when I got to looking at it, I'm like, well, yeah, okay. But did it have to look like that?
Right.
I mean, it could look like a nice little bunny or a puppy.
I don't know if I have
or
it on here or not. I'll throw it up here if I do. Let me
No,
look.
it has to look like a creepy old dogman in the LBL. That's
Yep.
that's all I'll say. I mean, if we're gonna have pareidolia, can we just have something nice? Please?
I agree 100%.
Because the picture is really creepy looking.
Yeah,
It
I'm
had
looking
a
to
few
see
of us questioning the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And like you said, Brandy, that's the
we
thing is
did question it.
15 people might be able to see it, but then you get that one person that says, like the way Krista said, I just don't see it. I mean, constructive criticism is the way to
Right.
do it, not saying you're crazy.
Right, exactly. I'm gonna see if I
No,
can find it
no.
real quick.
No, she would never tell me I'm crazy because she's standing out in the LBL with me.
Oh,
So I witnessed, the weirdness going on.
We saw other things that evening.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I did find the picture. So let me
Oh, right on. This is
see
cool.
here. Let's try this out. Let me try to put this one up. This is a enhanced version. And honestly, I sent this picture to DA and Robbie also to look at.
Mhm.
But here's the picture. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's not my circle. That's Krista's circle.
That
Oh,
and that has been zoomed in. So you can kind of see a dog there. Do you see what I'm talking about?
It's hard to see. It's real dark.
yeah, that's the thing. I do different techniques like by brightening up an image and throwing it
Yeah.
through a negative filter.
Yeah, I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So-
no, I mean, I could, and like to say, I'm not saying I don't see anything. I do see something there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, if the mind plays tricks and starts picking out certain things, I can see what appears to be a snout
Yeah.
and 2 ears.
Well, I'm
but-
going to pull up the original.
But that's what I'm saying. I
I've
mean,
got an original here too. So I'm
it's
gonna
like,
pull that one
could it
up.
look like something else? Just anything.
No, it just stands
Anything.
out.
Yeah.
And that's the type of research I used to do. Was I look for those key points: the dark shadows, the pointed ears, the snouts, the nose, the
Yeah.
eyes, the claws.
And it's there. It's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it's
Other
pareidolia.
Yep.
I
Let's
mean,
see.
next time I'm going to hope for, something sweet and nice.
Let me
I
see.
don't want that again.
So here, I circled it. So where the area is, you can kind of see now in the background where it was almost dark.
Mhm.
And this is the area of where the thing is. And it's hard to see through this picture until I zoomed it in. So
Yeah.
I get where everybody, thought.
Hey, I'll give you guys one thing. It's not red circles.
No,
Well,
no.
and the thing is we're sending these off to other people because the picture is there's a lot to view in the picture. So we're trying to narrow it in
Yes.
to where you can, you can see it. And that's what everybody does, granted, but we were having people check this out.
Yeah.
We weren't trying to make
This
anybody
photo came
believe
from
it. We're
LBL?
like, hey, can you check this and see what, do you see what I see, or is it something different?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you said this photo came from the LBL, right?
Mhm.
The LBO.
I mean, it definitely could be.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in dog man country right there. I mean, what
Right.
side of the river was it? Was it north side or south side?
Letitia, I seen you're out in there. Please comment on that because I don't know where I was.
I want to say it was on the north side,
LBL.
but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
see,
know.
I've heard different theories that the north side is the dogman and it's definitely quiet. But then you go to the south side of the LBL, that's all Sasquatch, and you hear the birds chirping. Life's normal. So
Yeah.
But what I do want to say is Barton and I were standing there and we heard a long, high-pitched whistle.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was long.
Yeah.
wow.
And
Where did that come from?
Exactly.
we had no idea where it came from.
Yeah. And it was dark at that
Interesting.
time, fully dark.
Yeah.
At that
Wow.
time.
And there's been encounters and sightings where I've heard these dogmen whistling, and then they sound like they do a scream, and then it's like a deep guttural growl. What coyote whistles? I mean, when people say, "Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Well, and then Al brought up something. He said, "What's the red orb?" Well, Al, let me tell you, we saw orbs all night long.
I saw a red orb, and it was the size of a beach ball, and it was kind of a reddish
Holy
orange.
smoke.
It was big.
Mm.
It was not, softball size. It was
Yeah.
literally, it was beach ball size out in the woods. And somebody else seen it with me, and I don't remember if it was. It might have been War Criminal 7 that actually seen it at the same time I did.
And I saw smaller red, I saw smaller white. Letitia saw one that beamed like a flashlight. She
Yeah.
actually thought it was somebody with a flashlight walking up to where we were, and there was nobody there.
Yeah.
So
Now, what's up? I wanted to ask you ladies, what's the different colored orbs? Do they mean something? Like, is it emotion or what it could be? Because I've heard of blue orbs. And then, Krista, you shared a photo just earlier today, or was it yesterday, where you took a picture and it looks like a green orb in the window. Is
Mhm.
that, I mean, you get all these different
Honestly,
colored orbs.
I don't know the color of orbs or
Mhm.
their meanings. I personally don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. I
However,
don't.
orbs are a whole different ball game for me because I think a lot of them are dust or
Uh-huh.
they're bugs. And actually, we Brandy and Aaron and myself, we did a show on that just to
Oh,
show,
really? Okay.
to explain what we feel, and it's just our opinion
Mhm.
is a true orb and what isn't. So the one that I posted, I stayed at an Airbnb this past weekend with my family, and it was there was a ghost there. It was obvious, and I went all around the whole house taking pictures, just see if I could capture something in my weirdness, and I captured that, and I can't explain it because right on the other side there was another house. However, that house was empty, so it was all black.
Oh, yeah,
There was,
that photo to me looks pretty compelling. I mean, I just like
yeah.
I'm not really on the paranormal side of it, but when I see something cool, I'm like, hey, those look like a green orb. It doesn't, or like a greenish bluish hue to it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's not a flash, but like you said, there was nobody in the, so it really stood out to me. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Well, the interview that Barton did with Martin Groves
Uh-huh.
that night
Mhm.
actually caught an orb in it.
He sure did.
Oh,
There's an
same
orb
day.
in
The
that
same
interview.
day.
Yeah.
And I believe, I got to
Wow.
remember what minute it was, but I want to say it's at the 17-minute mark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think
Because
You can see
we're
the white
pretty
orb.
deep. We're pretty deep in the LBL. There is not a street lamp, a house, nothing. There's
It's straight
nothing.
woods, right?
Yeah,
And we're kind of down in this ravine type of
Mhm.
thing. So
Uh-huh.
you can't see anything outside of where we're at.
Uh-huh.
yeah. So Monster Radio
Wow.
says, according to some native oral traditions, you can tell the intention of the orb based on colors. Red and blue are typically negative. Thank you for
Ooh,
that information
interesting.
because I didn't know that. I'm not one
Wow.
that knows
When it
much
comes to
about it.
native lore and history, Ryan is the guy that I look up to. That's one thing why I tried diving into this was learn more about the native and the First Nations people because they were the first ones
Mhm.
here. They talk about
Right.
like BA writes about them in his book, the Ulonga Duglala, the Chiatonka. They used to trade with these beings or get abducted and taken off into the woods. So, but
Yeah.
like I think I told you ladies last week on Texas show that I've tried calling the local tribes around here, but no
Yeah.
one's answering. They're going to be, what questions you're going to ask? You can tell me your history. Do you believe in dogmen?
Right.
The elders obviously don't speak, but from what I've heard with success is the younger generations do because they grow up hearing about them. The skinwalkers, the Inatalushi, the Wendigos, the dogmen. They hear it, but to them it's more like folklore. So they're more willing to talk, but trying to find someone to give you the time of day, just they're not talking right now.
Yeah, yeah. And people are talking about the whistle, that Barton and Brandy heard. There were tales saying never to whistle in the woods.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had never heard that before, but it's
Yeah,
good to
no,
know.
I heard the whistle and he heard the whistle and I turned around and I looked at him and I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He said,
Now, what did
"Yeah."
Barton think it was? Did Barton think it was a dogman? Or I know he's really knowledgeable in the Bigfoot and cryptid community. So
wasn't
Honestly,
even
that
gonna speculate.
night, I have to tell you, and I know Letitia's out in chat. I don't know if Barton is or not, but he had went many years with nothing happening at the LBL. Like she's told me they've cooked bacon and steaks, tent camped, absolutely nothing until that night at the LBL that Brandy and I, and there were several others there, went, and he was seeing the orbs, and he didn't usually have the encounters. So
I mean, there was like 10 of us there, and everybody was facing in different directions because they were coming in on all sides. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Everybody was seeing a different one.
With people with open minds, with all 10 of you there, all having the same type of energy being opened up, maybe that's when you start seeing the cryptid activity. I've heard of that. When you go in closed-minded, I mean, it's just a theory base, but of course you're not going to see a Sasquatch when you got, 5 cameras out or a dog man.
Right.
But when you have people that are open-minded, maybe not recording, you're getting whistled, the orbs. So maybe it's just a theory, but I believe the same energy, people being open-minded, like you had Barton there, Letitia, you ladies, I mean, you're going to get some activity. I think that's when they're more willing to reveal themselves.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I can't even say that it was even on a cryptid side, only because it was just weird. We did see these creatures, all of us seen them peeking out from trees, not at the same time with the orbs. That was kind of when that picture was taken and the sun going down, you could see them peering on the hillside. After that, it was the orbs. However, we had paranormal equipment with us. We had a ghost box. And Brandy turned the ghost box on and it started saying some of our names. So is that, is that like on the woo side or was it just ghost out there too? Usually I can pick up when ghosts are around. I'm pretty good at that. And I honestly didn't feel any ghosts there. Not saying there wasn't.
Exactly.
I didn't pick up on anything. And so for the ghost box to start saying, some of our names and stuff, it was just kind of weird, so was it these cryptids coming through this box? Was it ghosts coming through this box? Or, and we never did look up. So who knows if there was any UFOs or aliens at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then I already knew we were in trouble because as soon as I turned the box on, the box on, it goes, howdy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I knew we were and see where we were, and I've explained this before, but I'll explain it again. Where we were, this thing, it picks up radio waves. We're out in the middle of the land between the lakes. I'm not getting any radio stations. I didn't even have the antenna on it. I am not trying to pick them up. All I want is the white noise. And you can hear it, shuffling through the white noise. And as soon as I turned it on, you hear, howdy. I was like,
wow.
Oh, hey. And we didn't pick up any voices or anything, from a radio station. Because sometimes you'll hear like a song being played or an advertisement, like just a little blip of it. Nothing like that.
And
not
what
a lick
you
of it.
said, next time we do need a sky watcher, and we do. And it did say her name was one of the names that said, which is odd to me because that's not a common name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Her name is different. So that kind of was a red flag. I think it said my name, and I don't remember who else's name besides Letitia's. It said somebody else's, but I don't remember who.
Wow. Now, didn't they say the LBL, used to be old hunting grounds for the First Nations people in the area? I mean, do you think it might have been First Nations, that were moved on and that were deceased that maybe still stayed in the area? I mean, possible.
We were doing several things to, set the vibration in the camp. We were trying to make it nice, serene, easy, calm, and whatever we were doing helped, and it worked. Maybe they just felt comfortable showing up.
Yeah. And like you said, you didn't see them peeking around the trees at the same time with the orbs. So I mean, this has all woo to me, honestly. That's why I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It sounds like the big woo.
Well, we didn't expect any woo. We didn't expect any. None.
Damn.
I just brought the paranormal equipment for like EMF, pressure, humidity to see if any of that changed in case we had an encounter. We had encounters, but
Multiple.
it was more than I anticipated.
Yeah.
And here's another thing too that's kind of, on the paranormal side of things. So Brandy changed the batteries, and she has what's called an Eddy Plus, which it measures vibration, EMF, all kinds of stuff. This little orange box does,
Mhm.
and she turned it on, and it went whoop, totally drained.
Fresh new battery just
Fresh
drained.
new
Huh?
Yeah, fresh new batteries.
Wow.
Which is again on the paranormal side, because we've had that happen many times at haunted locations.
Mhm.
So was this a cryptid thing? Was this a paranormal thing? I don't know. I can't explain it.
That's the thing I've heard on both. I've heard that, a buddy of mine goes into the Daniel Boone and goes investigates, and he says, with a fresh battery, goes in 20 minutes, phone's dead already. So are these things able to, interfere with the electromagnetic fields around them? I mean,
Right.
That's really pushing it with the cryptids, but it's all theory based on it. Can they? Just like paranormal, obviously, you ladies have dealt with drained batteries.
We as humans can set them off.
Yeah.
So why couldn't a cryptid? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that was my whole theory on doing a little bit of research when I was out there on a paranormal type side.
Yeah.
Well, that was cut, done. It was over in the first 2 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, Robin says that they drained batteries. So, like I said,
it was gone.
I can't say if it was ghosts or cryptids. However, even the things that were peeking behind the trees, could it have been a shadow person? Maybe. Because I couldn't tell you if it was a dog man, a Bigfoot, or a shadow person. I really don't know. All I know is that there was something that we all saw multiple times that we cannot explain.
You picked up activity. You just say
Al says, or was it an alien thing?
True.
Oh, alien, huh? It could be.
We weren't looking up, Al. Smack our hands. We were not looking up.
Yeah. Yeah. And Letitia and Barton were at the LBL yesterday, and she said we were at the LBL last night and had 7 photos that crashed. Then today they were back. Go figure.
What? I think I've heard of some certain cases about that.
Yeah.
I know Letitia was out there with Hellbent Holler and Martin Groves, and was it the other gentleman and his wife? I can't remember their names, but I thought I saw that on social media today.
Yeah, they were out there yesterday with them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Man, 7 photos just disappeared and come back.
Yeah,
there's some weirdness to it.
Right, and then the thing is too, Letitia, she told me that they absolutely had nothing happen yesterday. Nothing.
Wow. And then all of a sudden 7 photos just disappeared and then come back.
Right.
You can't say that's a technical glitch. I mean, I'm sorry. Photos that appeared and then reappear, unless it's saved in your iCloud, I guess. Maybe.
That's why I said Polaroid.
Yeah.
Yep. Brandy's you're right on that. Polaroid. 8 millimeter, 35 millimeter. Just like Al's going out tomorrow. So.
Well, and she also said that Joe and Jesse have files that were corrupted. So.
What?
Yeah, but they never physically seen any of the orbs or any creatures or anything.
They never had like any type of sensation, vibration.
Nothing yesterday, but now
nothing.
All of their equipment, is kind of going woo.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
So
well, Krista, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark there.
Yep, that we are. I
just want to say thank you so much for having me on your show.
No, thank you for accepting. Sure.
Anytime. I try to be open to be on any podcast if anyone wants to, just interview or just talk and just hang out. I don't even look at it as an interview. It's just me hanging out with a couple friends. That's how I look at it. That's how I treat
Well, I would like to have you back on again, and I want to see where you take the United States Dogman Federation. I want to see where you take this. I want to see what's going to happen. So I would like to talk to you again to see how that's going.
Yeah.
And I hope to have both of you on there. I'll join you guys in
absolutely
as admins, and let's collaborate with other dogman groups and just move on with our research in this field. So I'm super excited about that. So.
Yep. And anytime you can get to the LBL, look us up for sure.
Oh, I definitely will. I know you ladies are only like 3-4 hours away.
I'm 3
hours. I'm
hours,
like 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh, even better. Maybe we can hit up DA. I know he's up out in Springfield.
Yeah. DA is probably another I don't know.
3 from
He's
me.
about
You
3
probably
hours.
know
Oh, good for
3.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
well,
close.
I'll have to link up.
Yeah,
That
most
would be
definitely.
fun.
And then,
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be
hopefully you
awesome.
can make it to the Dogman conference. That'll be fun.
Definitely trying. I know it was, like I said, I'll talk to the wife about flying out, but I'd definitely be interested, and we can all link up and maybe
For
go
sure.
hit the Sam Houston National Forest. Big Sasquatch and Dogman activity out there.
That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds
That'd be
real
fun.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a good time. I want to let everybody know real quick. Not this weekend, but next weekend, Brandy and I will be out, along with Letitia is going to go with us. We're going to be up in Ann Arbor, Michigan for Potographs Parafest. It's to raise money for the local animal shelter there. And there's some really good speakers going to be there. And if anybody's into the paranormal, they will see that. They'll recognize some of those people. And so that's coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. And
Yes,
then,
tickets are still available. They also will have psychic readings all day long with galleries. So
yep.
get your
And then-
tickets. Ann Arbor,
then-
Michigan.
Yep. July 8th, we are going to be Blondes is doing an event at Malvern Manor. The owner, Josh Hurd, who is one of Nick Groff's G Crew. They've all got a podcast they do together. And Tex is going to come up. And then our friend Terry Mosby, who will be on the show tomorrow night, is all going to be there to investigate with the public. So that'll be a fun night. That'll be a good night. And then
Tickets will be on sale next month.
Yep. And then we have one more event that I'm going to promote here real quick. And it's with the Kling Brothers. And it's going to be up in Rockford, Illinois. And it is July 28th and 29th this year. We're going to be up there with them. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. And I'm pretty sure tickets are on sale for this one too. And it's a couple nights of ghost hunting. So
You're busy.
oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's just a few.
didn't
That's
tell
not
you.
even all of them.
Oh,
That's just the
no.
ones we have. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We
That's
stay
what's so cool about you too, is that you go and do it though. You are boots on the ground, and no
Oh, yeah.
matter what, whether it's cryptid or paranormal, but you
Yep.
show
We're
up.
trying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
we're going to show up one way or another. Sick, not sick. We're going to be there.
There you
Right.
go.
right.
We're showing up.
Yep.
That's right. Wear your mask.
Yeah, that's right. Social distance.
For sure. We want to thank everybody, and Shane, definitely want to thank you, and we definitely want to have you back. And anytime, you're more than
Thank
welcome.
you, ladies. This is a true honor, and like I say, thank you again. And like I said, anytime you need me for anything, you just reach out. It's a
And
true
same
pleasure.
here. Same
Thank
here
you.
with us, and we appreciate you helping us with our page too.
Hey, the feelings are mutual. Thank you for helping me with West Coast, and
Absolutely.
hopefully with this United States Dogman Federation, we can even build it bigger than what it is now. So
For sure.
I'm excited for that.
Yes,
I'll send you the invites.
absolutely.
Once I change everything around and get some logos made. I'll send you ladies the invites.
Sounds good.
All right.
And, stick around a minute. I want to get your address because I'm going to send you a Blondes and Booze sticker.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
All right. Good
All right.
night, everybody. Tune in
Bye,
tomorrow
everybody.
Appreciate it.
See you
And,
tomorrow.
tomorrow night. And then we also have a surprise show on Sunday. We're doing, well, it's not really a surprise. It's an impromptu. It's live readings with Michael Christopher.
Oh, yeah. So,
Oh,
yes. So if you're interested in getting a reading or just want to listen in, don't forget.
That'll be
join
Sunday
us.
at 6. So good night, everybody. Appreciate
Good
every
night.
one of you.
thank you.